This is Qtv News and I am Jenna Wasonko. Thank you for joining us. First, the main local and sports news headlines. As the Meet the People tour continues, President Barrow hears residents' concerns at meetings in Chairman Nyanija and Nyaniwasu. Still on his Meet the People tour, President Barrow promises the people of the Central River Region North their own electricity project. A former Chief of Defense Staff, retired Lieutenant General Lantombong Tamba, has told the Truth Commission the role he played in trying to stop the 1994 coup. In business news, a stakeholders forum on supporting micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the post-coronavirus era was held today. In international news, after the most contentious presidential in recent American history, the electoral meets today to formally confirm the winner. It might be the end of March, but this year that is not guaranteed. In sports news, South African football star Mojeka Madisha has died aged 25 after his car crashed and burst into flames, the second tragedy in less than a month for South Africa's biggest club, Mamelodi Sundowns. One of the biggest stars in world rugby has been handed a 4-year ban for taking anabolic steroids. Those were the main headlines, and now the local news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. As part of his ongoing dialogue with citizens on the Meet the People tour, President Barrow held meetings over the weekend in Chairman Nyanija and Nyaniwasu, where thousands turned out and welcome and interact with the president on issues of interest to them. Aliu Sise has the rest of that.
The president and entourage arrived to a rousing welcome at both meetings as thousands gathered to welcome and dialogue with the president. The meeting gave the people the opportunity to put their concerns to the president, but equally for the president to share with them his plans to address the concerns raised. At a meeting in Chairman Nyanija, several speakers, including Sidi Njai, a strange supporter of President Barrow, National Assembly member Amadou Kamara, and Chief Dauda York, are hoping for more development projects under President Barrow, while pledging Nyanija's support to the president. President Barrow pledges to build a new health facility at Buduk village in Nyanija. He also promised new classrooms at the community school to meet the increasing enrollment. A visibly elected President Barrow commends the people of Nyanija for reconciling their differences as a result of politics. He encourages them to remain united. The strength of Nyanija, he said, lies in unity, as nothing is achieved without togetherness.
On keba kurang, on keba ndiam, on keba lavi, on keba iskul, on keba lopital.
Addressing a huge crowd at Nyaniwasu, the president said the people of Nyani have for years been isolated, while assuring them of unprecedented developments to end their hardship.
Woto Nyani, Almeda kolonkono bari President Barrow la julo wole balbodi la kolonkono.
Several speakers, including National Assembly member Alaji Sela and Chief Perba, lamented poor roads, electricity, water, and lack of mobile networks in Nyani. They also appealed for an operating theater at the Qtv Health Center, in response to which Health Minister Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate said Qtv Health Center is among the health facilities to be given a facelift. He further revealed that an operating theater and more trained medical doctors will be available at the health facilities soon. Hamad Nkeba, Minister of Tourism, denounces politics of insult and character assassination as he emphasized the need for reconciliation and unity for the socio-economic development of the country. Minister Ba denies being a President Barrow's praise singer as he remains optimistic about the future of the country under President Barrow.
President Barrow has a vision for this country. He is determined to move this country forward. He is determined to develop the Gambia.
He used the meetings to advocate respect for the law, as instability will only retard the development and progress of the country. Speaking in Nyaniwasu, Musa Drame, Lance Minister, announced that Nyakoy Olaf, Nyakoy Tukulor, Nema Mandinka, and Nema Fula will get boreholes in 2021. Additional communities such as Kas Wolof, Kas Fula, and Nyani Kayai will also be provided with boreholes next year. Reporting for Qtv News, I am Aliu Sise.
At his last meeting in the Central River Region, North Bank, on Sunday, President Barrow announced at a meeting in Sami Randiru that a new electricity project for them will be launched early next year. As Alusisa reports, the president is now in the Upper River Region.
The president's announcement followed electricity concerns raised by the people of the area during a meeting in Ranero as part of the ongoing dialogue with the People's Store. He promised to return to the area between February and March 2021 to launch the commencement of the electricity project.
am nañ project bi
nga project o sotole
def nañ sauvé bi
nga be yinkale
am nañ xaalis bi
ana fulo nga sotole
pour ñu loñ ko rek liggéey bi store loro moo des.
In addition to electricity, the people also want the construction of the road leading to Ranero, which the president admitted was in a bad state. He told the meeting that the dusty road will be upgraded to a feeder road temporarily for ease of movement. According to the president, Sami is high on his agenda, citing the construction of the already inaugurated Lamekota Pasamas Road and the Keleng Bansang Road. For President Barrow, all Gambians are equal and must benefit from national cake, saying, "I don't believe in discriminated development."
Gambia yëpp ñoo MC man.
Gambia be tout wolle kañanten teto.
Gambia yëpp suma njaboot lañ.
Gambia tout be mun na dimba Yalla si.
Yang ma support loma.
Fo yen support le bang wala imam fasa bang.
Opposition nga àndal.
Fo yen ibe opposition le bang.
Man awma frontière ñëpp suma njaboot lañ.
Man na ne o soto on na mo dole kañan.
For the people of this settlement, the meeting was not just a rare opportunity to put their concerns to the president, but also historic, as it was the first time a president had visited the village. Several speakers, while thanking the president and reaffirming their support, are hopeful that their concerns will be considered and addressed in time. While thanking the people of Sami for the voluntary huge turnout, he told them he was elected to lead the country and bring about positive change in their lives. "There is no time to waste in developing the country. I believe more in working than too much talking," he told the people. Musa Drame, the lands minister, announced that several communities in Sami will benefit from boreholes to address their water problems. Hamad Nkeba, the tourism minister, urged the people, particularly the youth, to secure voters' cards during the registration exercise. He also invited those Gambians outside the country to return home and get registered to participate in the election. On Sunday, the president entered the Upper River region and was received on arrival by regional governor and local leaders. At Bansang and other settlements, the people had lined the highway, holding posters of the president to welcome him to their communities. He is to preside over 7 meetings during his week stay in the Upper River region. His first 2 meetings are on Tuesday in Sotumasiri and Kumbija in the Jimara and Basse districts.
We are here at Sarmansali, few meters from the president's home village of Mankamankunda. And as you can see from my background, people have come out in their numbers to welcome the president of Mankamankunda. President Barrow is from Jimara, and obviously the people of this region have come out to give him a befitting welcome here in Mankamankunda. Reporting for Qtv News from Mankamankunda in the Upper River region, I am Alusisa.
A former Chief of Defense Staff, retired Lieutenant General Lantombong Tamba, appeared before the Truth Commission on Monday to narrate the role he played in trying to stop the 1994 coup. General Tamba explained in detail how Jammeh and his team approached State House from Yundum Barracks, telling the Commission that the attackers were more armed than those defending State House. Babukar C has the rest of that.
Retired Lieutenant General Lantombong Tamba began his testimony with his educational background and his enrollment into the gendarmerie, rising to the rank of a Lieutenant General and head of the army. General Tamba told the commission that the 1994 coup d'etat led by Yahya Jammeh met him at the State House as the head of the State Guard, when former President Jawara was on official business and then on holiday in the United Kingdom. The witness said when the president traveled, there were widespread rumors that some soldiers were planning a coup to overthrow and arrest Jawara on his arrival at the airport. Lantombong said he had to call his boss, Captain Lamin Kababajo, who was at the time the head of the Presidential Guard, to inform him about the rumors and set up his mechanism in preparation for the president's return.
I contacted my commander at the time, who was in the UK, that is Lamin Kababajo.
Nganna commander nga chokinyola naye nyomoi wala mutumo Captain Lamin Kababajo.
I briefed him what the rumor was all about.
ngunu kibaro membe ke kanga akenya be faye otumo
that the military was planning a coup against the president.
Ko sojarolu be ferole fewja kan otumo de pour ka president o coup d'etat.
And they intend to do the coup on arrival at the airport.
Ando pareta coup d'etat nyin tamandila wato men wolem nina ta hanifo ifutata kuluntila jidulato.
And at the time,
andu tembo
the commander, Captain Bayo, told me that he has informed the president.
General Tamba said he set up plans with armed men to secure key areas and the arrival of the president, while acknowledging that Yaya Jammeh, who was carrying a pistol, was disarmed at the airport by Nigerian soldiers. Mr. Tamba said the following morning, while he left the State House to Fajara Barracks, he received a call from Kaba Bajo instructing him to return immediately, as he had received information that soldiers were coming to attack the State House from Yundum Barracks. The witness said the mistake they made at the time was to have sent all the big weapons to Yundum Barracks, and so were left with few weapons, thus the Kupis. First point of call was at the barracks, where they secured heavy weapons to attack the State House.
Whether to engage them in a battle, and eventually what will end up happening, they will overpower us because they have more sophisticated weapons. So if you look at the decision I took, was to save my personnel. And that the president was already secured, he has left. So I instructed that they should open the gate. It started with the main gate where Edward was. And Edward with his team were the first to come in after we accepted to open the gates.
General Tamba said the men increased in numbers, and even the soldiers stationed to protect the Denton Bridge ended up joining the attacking force to the State House. Thus, it was useless to engage them in a fight. His testimony continues into the 2006 alleged Ndurcham failed coup, and in 2009, where he was accused of trying to overthrow Jammeh. Babukar Sey, Qtv News.
We will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will continue with local news, business, international, and sports. Do stay tuned. Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. Now, a dual training course for representatives of the Department of Community Development, Agricultural Sectors and the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources is underway. The training will equip the IBA Technical Working Group members to fully participate in the implementation and monitoring of the project at field levels. Lolly M. Kamara has the rest of that.
The 5-day training, which is in 2 components, will give the participants the chance to discuss, suggest ideas, strategies, policies, and ways forward for the EBA project. The project seeks to expand the climate-resilient, natural resource-based economy and build the climate resilience for Gambian communities and facilitate the development of a sustainable green economy. Bubu Pata Jallo, Chief Technical Advisor, EBA Project, gave a brief background of the EBA project, adding that it is mandatory under the EBA project to build the capacity of national technicians.
The second part of the workshop, which is from Wednesday to Friday, we have technical experts from the Department of Community Development and the Department of Agriculture. We brought them together because we want to integrate climate change in the extension strategy of agriculture and the community development policy.
Jallo added they are hopeful that at the end of the 5 days exercise, they will go down to regions to do training for the regional technical working groups. Alaji Manjang, Permanent Secretary at the Environment Ministry, underscored the importance of the training, stating that the entire EBA project will address some of the fundamental challenges posed by climate change, among them environmental degradation.
We are saying that 75% of the people of this country are involved in agriculture in some form of it. But are they looking or are they addressing themselves to the sustainability of agriculture in view of climate change? These are the challenges, these are the realities, and these are the messages we need to put forward for everybody to understand that there is a need to adjust in the way we do what we do and what we have been doing for many years.
Our Silla, program coordinator of the EBA project, said the training is important and timely as it will lay the foundation for what they will do here and beyond the project period, as many more projects will be implemented in the future.
This workshop is particularly very important for the EBA project. We have a mandate not just to restore our community forests or to establish community businesses in community forests or the MPCs, but we have a mandate to actually integrate EBA into policies and strategies as well as strengthen institutions that will take up EBA even after the project.
Sariang MK Jobata, Deputy Director General, stressed the importance of EBA's measures as examples that can be simplified into strategies, the process of decision-making and activities across the country. According to him, efforts will continue to be made but not implemented until EBA came with suggestions and policies to have a policy on environment, and since then, an agreement has been made.
We came to an agreement that this is a very important step in trying to educate ourselves with adaptation in terms of climate change, as we know that climate change is with us and it will continue to be with us.
Tamba Jasi, Deputy Director, Department of Community Development, stressed the need for bottom-up approach and that the whole process should be community-led.
The needs of the communities need to be prioritized. There has to be, planned through participatory process to ensure that the right type of projects are implemented.
For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Now on to some business news. A stakeholders forum on supporting micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the post-coronavirus era and their formalization was held today. I attended the opening ceremony and this is my report. Let's take a listen. According to the United Nations, small businesses are being hit hardest by the economic fallout of the pandemic. Unprecedented lockdown measures enacted to contain the spread of the coronavirus have resulted in supply chain disruptions and a massive drop in demand in most sectors. According to the data provided by the International Council for Small Business, formal and informal micro, small and medium-sized enterprises make up over 90% of all firms and account on average for 70% of total employment and 50% of GDP.
For the Gambia, when you have over 90% of businesses being small and medium scale, it was quite significant. When people lost their incomes and livelihoods and jobs, when most of the sectors, predominantly because tourism was really the cash cow, you realize that if post-COVID, if we're really looking at the entire recovery of the country, if we do not look at the backbone, which is MSMEs, then we are pretty much tackling on whether the country will be resilient.
The UN says for MSMEs to continue their role of creating decent jobs and improving livelihoods, small businesses depend more than ever on an enabling business environment, including support for access to finance, information and market. These enterprises, which generally employ fewer than 250 persons, are the backbone of most economies worldwide and play an important role in developing countries.
During my tenure as the Minister of Trade and Industry between 2017 and 2018, I championed and initiated the Gambia's investment policy review with my technical team at the ministry and the development of our first national entrepreneurship policy. One of the key goals of the National Entrepreneurship Policy is the promotion of the growth and development of MSMEs. As a country, we made a commitment to support the development of the MSMEs ecosystem in recognition of the very important role of MSMEs as main drivers of economic growth. In the Gambia, MSMEs contribute approximately 20% of our GDP.
In many countries, including the Gambia, the majority of MSMEs are informal, those which have not registered their businesses with government authorities. MSMEs informality is a prominent feature of the MSME sector, especially in developing countries.
We have been advocating with the government on how to support them because businesses don't require charity. They are not here to receive money from the chamber. That is not why we came together on businesses. We came together to advocate. So we went to the government, and some of the things we are asking the government is for these small businesses, the cost of starting and registering businesses every year is very high. So they have reduced that. We've gone back to the government to say that these people, they cannot employ people and pay the payroll tax. The payroll tax goes directly to their employees, and we think that we cannot encourage them by taking money away from their employees. So their employees are the most vulnerable in the society.
Data deficiency of informal MSMEs in developing country makes it more difficult to deliver policies tailored to their demands. The roadmap expected to be produced at the conclusion of this forum hopes to produce solutions to the bottlenecks hampering growth and productivity in the MSME sector. We will take another short commercial break, and when we come back, we will take a look at international and sports news. Do stay tuned. Now on to some international news. President-elect Joe Biden moves closer to the White House as members of the Electoral College meet in state capitals across the country today to cast their ballots for president and vice president. This will formally mark the moment when Joe Biden becomes the 46th president in waiting.
By day's end on December 14th, every state is expected to have made its election results official, awarding 306 electoral votes to Biden and 232 to President Trump. The date is established by federal law, and the distribution of votes is based on the results of the November 3rd general election, making the Electoral College vote a mere formality. Quite straightforward, right? Wrong. One of the peculiarities of American democracy is that the Electoral College vote ultimately elects the president, not the popular vote. And in theory, an Electoral College may vote for the losing candidate of the popular vote. The 2016 election makes the point crystal clear. According to the U.S. magazine The Atlantic, outgoing President Trump and his Republican Party allies have been putting pressure on Republican-controlled legislatures to appoint electors favorable to the president, regardless of the final vote tally. But no state has done so. President Trump continues to make unfounded allegations of vote rigging, as the courts, including the Supreme Court, keep rejecting his petitions against the result. His supporters, joined by far-right groups, over the weekend held so-called Stop the Steal marches in several cities, including the capital, Washington, D.C. They clashed with anti-Trump protesters, and police say 4 people were taken to hospital with stab wounds and 23 arrested. One person was shot in Olympia, the capital of Washington state. A Trump supporter was arrested for the shooting. The president is reported to have tweeted on Sunday that this was the most corrupt election in U.S. history. And Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor who Trump pardoned for lying to the FBI, addressed the crowd exclaiming, "We decide the election. We are waging battle across America." A member of Biden's transition team said, "Where there is violence, it is not protest. That is breaking the law. So we are worried about it. The Democratic presidential candidate in 2000, Al Gore, who conceded the bitterly fought presidential race to George W. Bush exactly 20 years ago on Sunday, said, "This is America. We put country before party. We will stand together behind our new president," and continues, "With the electoral college votes tomorrow in all 50 states, I hope that will be the point at which some of those who have hung on will give up the ghost. There are things more important than bowing to the fear of a demagogue." Many experts believe that Trump's feverish maneuvers to overturn the result will fail, and today's electoral college vote may be the knockout blow to his unprecedented shenanigans. The electoral college ballots will be formally counted during a joint session of Congress on January 6th. For QTV News, I am Mamadou Mbouch.
Now on to some sports news. South African football star Mojeka Madisha has died aged 25 after his car crashed and burst into flames on a road east of the main city, Johannesburg. As we hear in the special report, it was the second tragedy in less than a month for South Africa's biggest club, Mamelodi Sundowns.
Madisha's death came just 2 days after the burial of his Mamelodi Sundowns teammate, Anele Ngonka, who was also killed in a car crash. According to eyewitnesses, Madisha managed to crawl out of the burning wreckage before he died. Another person in the vehicle also died, local media reported. Some passers-by captured some of the impact and the flames on their mobile phones, but were unable to rescue the 2 people in the vehicle. National coach Molefi Nseki said he was gutted by the death of the footballer in what he described as an horrific accident. He was a rising star with the right attitude, and his positive attitude among other players was always invaluable, Nseki said in a statement. The 25-year-old was an established star with Mamelodi Sundowns and had been capped 13 times for the national side Bafana Bafana. The club was still grieving Ngonka's death after his vehicle was involved in a car crash with another vehicle. Since the inception of the PSL in 1996, Sundowns have won the league a record 10 times and are the biggest football club in South Africa. They were the 2016 CAF Champions League winners and were also voted 2016 CAF Club of the Year. They are the first South African team to compete in the FIFA Club World Cup, where they finished in 6th place. Their latest league success means they have won 13 titles since 1971, when a foreigner to the PSL kicked off. And this total sees Sundowns overhaul the Chiefs' previous record of 12. As well as club records, there were also individual records for coach Pitso Motsimane and 3 of his players. For his wins, Motsimane was rewarded with the coach's job at Egyptian giants Al Ahly, where he then led them to this year's CAF Champions League crown. Ironically, after Anele Ngonka's death in November, Madisha had been among the players paying tribute to their deceased colleague by holding up a shirt with his image and another with his squad number. Tributes have poured in from all sections of South African society for the loss of 2 well-loved players. Reporting for QTV News, I am Ade Darami.
One of World Rugby's biggest upcoming stars, South Africa wing Aphiwe Dyantyi, has been given a 4-year ban after testing positive for performance-enhancing substances. More in this report.
Dyantyi was the recipient of World Rugby's Breakthrough Player of the Year in 2018. Having tested positive, he did not participate in the 2019 Rugby World Cup as a result of the suspension that followed. Dyantyi pleaded guilty to the charge of taking a banned substance, but he claimed he did not knowingly do so. The South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport said Dyantyi's denials had not met the burden of proof. The ban will run until August 2023, and the 25-year-old has the right to appeal. Dyantyi only made his debut for South Africa against England in June 2018, but by the following year had already played 13 times for the Springboks. The wing, who plays for the Golden Lions in Johannesburg, was provisionally suspended in August 2019 after a first doping test was found to contain multiple anabolic steroids. His first sample tested positive on 2nd of July that year. He then requested his second sample to be tested, and that also came back positive. Gianti claimed he drank from the bottle of a friend during a gym session 2 days before the urine sample was taken. However, experts on the panel concluded that this explanation was not believable. After confirming his ban, the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport issued a reminder to athletes to exercise caution when using sports supplements and to also evaluate the risk of products which claim to help them gain muscle quickly. Gianti may take up his option to appeal, but many doubt he will succeed in overturning the ban. For now, one of the most promising careers in world rugby lies in tatters. Furthermore, even though he missed the World Cup, it has caused others to cast doubt on South Africa's 2019 World Cup triumph. Reporting for QTV News, I am Ade Darami.
The dust has settled in the WAFU Under-20 Zone B tournament as the Final Four going into the semi-finals are now known. The semi-final four will be Niger, Ghana, Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire. More in this report.
In the end, host Benin could not stay at their own party. They were eliminated after being knocked out by Burkina Faso. In a close game played at Stade de Gaulle in Porto Novo, the host lost by a single goal. Ghana did not have long to enjoy victory over arch-rivals Nigeria and beaten 1-0 by Cote d'Ivoire. Even before the match kicked off, both teams knew they could both go through with a draw as they were in a 3-team group. Nigeria, with a single point from 2 games, could go no further. This game was also about who would finish top. In the end, the goal which settled the match was one worthy of winning a final. With an hour gone, a free kick was awarded to Cote d'Ivoire from what looked a long way for goal. However, Kosingesan stepped up to take the free kick and fired in a rocket of shot from all of 25 meters past a stunned Ibrahim Danlat in the Ghana goal. There had been little to separate the teams up to that point. The result meant Cote d'Ivoire's Baby Elephants topped the group with 4 points, while Ghana's Black Satellites finished second with 3 points. The Ghanaians tried to get back on terms, but to no avail. However, the Ivorians held onto their slender lead, knowing a defeat would kick them out of the tournament. After all that, the lineup for the semi-finals will see Group A winners Niger take on Ghana in Tuesday's first match, while Cote d'Ivoire will play Burkina Faso in the day's other game. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. As the Meet the People tour continues, President Barrow had residents' concerns at meetings in Chamenyanija and Nyaniwasu. Still on his Meet the People tour, President promises the people of Central River Region North their own electricity project. A former Chief of Defense Staff, retired Lieutenant General Lantombong Tamba, has told the Truth Commission the role he played in trying to stop the 1994 coup. In business news, a stakeholders forum on supporting micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the post-coronavirus era was held today. In international news, after the most contentious presidential in recent American history, the electoral meets today to formally confirm the winner. It might be the end of matters, but this year that is not guaranteed. In sports news, South African football star Mojeka Madisha has died aged 25 after his car crashed and burst into flames in what was the second tragedy in less than a month for South Africa's biggest club, Mamelodi Sundowns. One of the biggest stars in world rugby has been handed a 4-year ban for taking anabolic steroids. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do join us at 10 for another bulletin. Thanks for watching and have a good week ahead.